I'm ready to kind of get where we can choose, where we can do both. I do think that there's a good venue for getting in front of y'all and seeing faces and talking and having that human connection. But you know what? We'll take this in the midst of a pandemic. The fact that we can have a thing with almost 50 people here is amazing. And some new faces too, which I love to see. So for those of you that don't know our company and our people, just want to do some brief introductions for Independence Title, Schultz & Keller. I'm Matt Schultz. I'm a real estate title attorney and co-owner, along with my law partner, Dustin Keller, co-owner of Independence Title and the Schultz & Keller Law Firm. Our locations are in Southlake, Colleyville, Roanoke, Argyle, and Dallas. We also have our commercial division that's throughout DFW. They office out of Southlake, but work throughout the Metroplex, much like y'all. On our call here today, just to say hey to a few bright, pretty faces. Michelle Hilton's out of our Southlake and Colleyville location. Hey, Michelle. Maritza is our director of marketing for our Roanoke and Argyle locations. We have Monica and Louisa out of Dallas, and then Diana is our marketing director for our commercial division. The main thing to know about myself and Dustin is we are real estate title attorneys only. So we do this all day, every day. It's not a 9 to 5 for us. We work when y'all work, which I've heard can be sometimes in the evenings and weekends. Y'all do a little bit of work, right? That's when we're available to y'all. So phone calls, texts, emails. One thing I want to do is empower you to reach out to both Dustin and myself for all things title, contract, legal, big things, small things. If you need a little bit of language written in special provisions, if there's sort of a unique situation and you want someone to help troubleshoot to set your clients up for success, that's something that we want to do for y'all. And we do that for our clients, but we also do that to help earn business. So if you have not worked with us before, or if you haven't worked with us in a minute, in a couple months, give us a shot. This is us asking for your business. We want to show you what we can do from a title and escrow perspective. And if you're looking to really launch into the second half of 2020 and into 2021, our marketing reps are an excellent resource to do that, to help fill out your database, put valuable content in front of them so that you are top of mind whenever they want to buy or sell, or they have somebody moving into town. You get those referrals, that sort of repeat business. We want to help you do that. You're an extension of our team. We want to be an extension of your team as well. This class, everything that Abby touches is gold. It's amazing. I know we have a couple new classes we're teaching coming up, but this, I think, is one of the most empowering classes that you could potentially take, because this is about taking ownership of your business and taking ownership of the relationship you have with a buyer and a seller. I think it's, I didn't think about this beforehand, but it's kind of like whenever you're dog training, and if your dog thinks they're the alpha, they're going to make your life hell, right? Then they're chewing on the rug, they're peeing here, they're barking, they're doing all that. No, so in this case, your client's the dog, your client's the puppy, and you're walking in and you're saying, heel. I am the alpha, I am in charge, and you need to listen to me. And guess what all good puppies do whenever they have somebody who knows what they're talking about? They do fall in line. People want to be led by someone who knows what they're doing. So I think, price, presentation, like those are the big overarching topics that you're talking about, but it's really about making it known that I am the real estate expert. You hired me for a reason to do a job. Let me do that job. And when you can start having that confidence and that language that goes along with that, it will completely change your career, and it'll change your life, because your career is a big part of your life, right? So without further ado, Abby's got a lot to cover. Thank you all so much for joining us. Please do reach out if there's anything we can do for y'all on any existing deals or any upcoming deals. If you want to see a sample of what we can provide you from a marketing perspective, just shoot me a text with the property address and say, hey, let me see what you got going on. I have a listing appointment, or I'm showing buyers, and we'll get some valuable stuff in front of y'all. So thank you so much. And Abby, let's hear it, girl. We appreciate you.
Awesome. Likewise. Love having this team right here. It's no small gift to have the Schultz & Keller team behind you. Got your back. I know I sure love it, and the things that we can do, and I can do better things together. I loved your analogy, Matt. It is perfect. I always say, when you gain their confidence, you gain their cooperation. And when we are asking people to stretch in ways that they have been unable to in the past, oftentimes with the presentation of their home. We need for them to trust us and cooperate, right? Because we know what we're talking about, and we just don't. I just would like for it all to be more sustainable. So if you have the handout here today, give me a little thumbs up if you got it. If not, it's not essential, but good. I'm glad that you do have it. It's going to be a place for you to ground in and apply some answers. And you might just look with me at number 1. Briefly describe your make-ready process. Briefly describe it. If you can briefly describe it, go ahead and jot that down. And if you can't, by the end of class today, you will. And I say briefly, you can be writing as I'm talking briefly, because, there is some magic to the elevator, the elevator speech. And that magic is that it's succinct. And I was just having this conversation last night, talking to a guy who manages like a multi-billion-dollar company. And he talked about how his, the people that he works with make it look easy. That is a true sign of a pro, when you make it look easy. And if you can be succinct and say briefly what value you bring and how you bring it, that's a sign that you're on the road to being a true pro, right? You have crossed that line of excellence, and it's obvious. You're not searching for the words. You're not looking to try and describe your value. Succinct. Let's be able to say it with a nice, beautiful sound bite. And so that's one of the things that we're going to be working on today, describing the make-ready process very succinctly, right? Number 2, list the support staff and partnerships you rely on. List the support staff and partnerships you rely on. Go ahead and throw in Matt Schultz and Michelle Hilton and Maritza and go ahead and put Independence in there if you haven't already. Put down who comes first to mind, and it doesn't have to be everybody, but I'd be curious to see who immediately comes to your mind, as in, I don't know if I could do it without them. Thank God I've got them on my team or in my sphere of resources, right? Because we don't do it alone. Even though you may be a solopreneur, right, running your own business, you may not be a part of a real estate team. You may be doing this on your own, but we never do, right? Great things are done by a team of people, all great things. So go ahead and list down a few of those. And by the end of class today, we're going to have listed a few other ones. I imagine we're going to have added to that list. And then last but not least, number 3 for now. How do you present your suggested sales price? How do you do that? There's a lot of different ways. The beautiful thing about the real estate business and you agents is that even though we're all trying to get to the same closing table, right? There's a million different roads to get there. Many roads to Damascus, as they would say, right? And I learned from all of you guys. I really do. So I'm curious, what's your way of presenting that? Do you come in with a really firm price there at that listing appointment for them? Do you suggest it at the very end of the game, once you actually see their level of presentation and then can equate a price to it, keeping them in a little range up until then? Or is it somewhere in between? Jot that down. These are the types of questions that we're going to be answering today. And we've got 3 sections that we're going to be doing it. Let me go ahead and share my screen now. Good, good, good. All right, so we're all seeing this right here. Let me get my chat situated down here. Get things moved around. I am a designer, so I'm a little OCD about everything, even the way my screen looks. Nice and balanced. Here we go. So, mastering price and presentation, developing a succinct make-ready and pricing strategy that gains your clients' confidence and cooperation. This is not a home staging class. I'm not going to be going into the details of how to stage. I will refer to it because it is an element of presentation. This is actually a wonderful class we're working on the communication and the business strategies, right? And then the more technical hands-on class is a great follow-up to this one, where we do a hands-on staging course. But this is more about your business. So in fact, the 3 sections that we're going to be looking at is We're going to start with expectations of home sellers, home buyers, and of the market. The big question is always, well, if I invest my time, money, my attention, what's the ROI? So we're going to look at that fine balance between days on market and the return on your investment. All right. This section is one that is rather foundational. I understand that we have a large spectrum of experience in my rooms. And so for my pros who've been at this a long time, don't snooze off. Okay. We're going to run through, and I'm going to try and run through this section actually pretty quickly, because then we're going to get into the beast of the discussion today here on these next two. The foundation of your business model, like your business systems. How do I get those sorts of reduced days on market? What sort of network do I need to have behind me? What sort of policies are all of our make ready policies and our partnerships? And then of course, my favorite section is going to be communication. We can know it all up here, but unless we can really bring it out with phrases, stories, even just the style of our language. So we're going to start with the ABCs of real estate communication. We're going to go into the introductions of information with our clients. How do we introduce these ideas more successfully? Because as we know, it's not what you say, but how you say it, right? That sets that perspective and whether or not they're going to be open and receptive. There's a lot of objections. People have something called a closed mind. There's the open mind, the new mind, and this closed mind, where we, just because we've had a little experience with something, our brain will tell us, oh, I know it. I know that. And that's a closed mind, to think that you already know. And unfortunately, we're dealing with a lot of clients that think that they know because they've touched real estate in the past at one point. They did it X, Y, and Z. And we're here to tell them, let's tell you how we sell real estate most successfully today. All right. We're going to talk about the attitude that we bring into these communications, the strategies. Strategies is probably going to be my most favorite part in all of this. Succinct, verbally expressed, succinct strategies, and then your follow-up. Fortune's in that follow-up, right? So let's get into some of these expectations of home sellers, home buyers, and the balance of the market. Looking at the home seller experience, we have recommendations for, explanation of, and estimations for, right? So when I step into that very first listing presentation, they want recommendations, don't they, from you? They want something from you when they've invited you into their home, right? They want to know how they compare. So we bring that comparable listings information, best sales price suggestion. They typically want it. Now, I don't always give them what they want. Part of my strategy is to always leave them wanting more, so that we get that listing agreement signed, right? If I give them everything they want up front, then I don't always get to what I want. So make ready suggestions. They typically want that, and helpful resources, right? Who can help us do these things? We've got the explanation of how you work. Oh, let me go ahead and mute everybody unless there's something you need to share. Mute all. If you do need to share something, I'd love for you to share. If it's, try and keep it over here in the chat, okay? And we'll check it out. And by the way, I've seen what you guys have been saying to me. I've noted about like CE credit and a few things that y'all said. I'm looking at it. The explanation of, and this is what I think is really important, what we're working on, how you work. What are your staging services, all of your make-ready services, and your marketing tactics? And then they want the estimations for how many days on market, how long do you think it'll take to sell, what time of year should we sell, and of course, their net profit, right? These are the things that are it's a lot of heavy stuff to be, moving through while also making that human connection, right? It's a lot to balance. That's why you guys are exceptional people. You have to be an agent and be a good one. You're managing a lot. So the two success factors, though, in all of this, what I find is when I'm reading through all of this information, the two things that are most important is that I can get a baseline agreement with them, and this is a verbal thing. How well can we give your buyer what they want? That's going to be the first success factor. And if we can do that, if we can agree to try and give the buyer, your particular buyer, what they want, then we're going to make a great team. And the second biggest factor in our success is how well can I evaluate the strength of the offers we attract and negotiate the best possible terms. And even though that is such a fundamental part of your business, it's not something that is often succinctly expressed in your value. Why do you have me here? Because I'm going to evaluate it. Not all offers are the same, are they? Even it's not always apples to apples. There's a lot of nuances to these contracts and these offers, and sometimes it even has to do with the agent on the other end, that buyer's agent, and their reputation, and all sorts of nuances go into evaluating the quality of that offer and then negotiating for the best possible terms. So to be able to let them know and to accept that sort of liability and responsibility is a good thing to do in that conversation. So something, we need an agreement from them, and then you tell them what you're agreeing to. And these are the two biggest factors to our success. Now, I'm looking at my chat because this is an easy one. I want you guys to answer. You know, I like to see y'all answer and participate over here. What three things? This is an easy one. We are warming up. We are ramping up. What three things are buyers always considering? Always, always, always. I'm looking in my chat. Y'all tell me. Always considering these three things when they're buying a home. I got Michael with price. That's one. Location is two. Michael's on a roll. And condition. Okay, perfect, perfect. Yes, Brandon. Location, thank you. How much do they get out of the sale of their house? Yes, on the seller's end, that is so true. They want that net profit. But now we're moving into home buyer expectation. What three things are buyers always considering? And y'all nailed it. It's going to be that condition, location, price. So we know that. But now, what's the number one concern of the home buyer? If you've taken one of my classes before, you might have heard this. This is coming from the National Association of Home Builders. The number one concern of a home buyer. We're on to home buyers now. And the answer is quality. In this day and age, they want to know if what they are investing, what they are attaching their name to, a 15-year note, a 30-year note, is it quality? As in, and typically that is expressed by it being move-in ready, right? Move it, they've taken the care and the time. It is move-in ready, it is well made, and it's a fair value, right? These are the things that speak to, is this a quality purchase? Is this a quality home, right? Move-in ready, well made, and a fair value. This is what your buyers are really concerned about. And one of the reasons why, if you're not familiar with architecture and building materials and able to raise that perceived value and lay in more value by recognizing builder upgrades and things like that, then we got some work to do, okay? And you're in the right place. That's the sort of things we work on in my classes so that you can speak to this concern. We are here to alleviate concern and gain their trust and cooperation. Right? Here's a list of right now the current essential features for home buyers. This might be a good screenshot. I think it is wild that top of the list is the laundry room. Like not a laundry closet, but they want that laundry room with a sink and a countertop, and if we can throw in a mud room. So I'm not going to linger here. Just get a good look at these. These are the top features for your home buyers. And good thing to know when you are working with your home sellers, if there's something that you can modify, if you've got a little extra space, you know you need to remodel something, you know, take these spaces and features into consideration for how you would like to enhance the home, right? The walk-in pantry, the in-suite for the master, in-suite for master, right? And that means that there's the connected bath with a separate standalone tub and a walk-in shower, and it's all connected there to my bedroom. That's typically what they're looking for, right? I think it's interesting the ceiling fans made the top list here. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so the question for them is, can they see this home accommodating their lifestyle? Yes, we may break it apart into pieces and parts, but can it accommodate my lifestyle? And what we know is, especially if we take the stat that's underneath this into consideration, 77% of buyers agents said that staging a home made it easier for a buyer to visualize the property as their future home. That's what we want, right? Remember, we're not selling just if they see it out here. They've got to see it. And when we infuse it with lifestyle, it triggers that imagination where they literally get a flash of them in the home experiencing their lifestyle. But oftentimes they walk into the home in the critical part of their brain, and we need to get them out of that and into the part of their brain that actually is more connected to the heart center and their imagination, so that we can trigger that flash. Because again, I'm not selling if they just see it out here. I'm selling when they see it in here, because we remember in story, the home that can trigger that internal story is the home that I'm going to say later, I just keep saying it, I just saw it, and that's where we get really motivated. So can it accommodate? And I use that in my listing language. My listing language is something that's not only part of my written listing descriptions, but it's also in my sales language, right? This home can accommodate this activity or this activity. This room will accommodate. This feature accommodates, right? Because that's really what we're looking for. Can it accommodate my lifestyle? All right. So let's look quickly at some DOM, days on market versus ROI. What level of presentation is necessary, right? Because I'm not doing this because I just want to be doing this. I'm not investing all of this time and money. And I certainly don't want to ask my clients to do more than what is necessary, right? So what level of presentation is necessary? We always evaluate the listing in light of the current competition in the neighborhood at the price point you want. I wish that it was a one-size-fits-all formula. While we do have some design principles that we adhere to, and there is a current staged look that gets results. That being said, not one size fits all. It is always based on the current competition in the neighborhood that you're selling at the price point that you want, right? Your finishes need to be competitive at your price point. That's what I say over and over to my clients. And we start getting apples to apples and start looking. And then we start asking some serious questions. Well, do we want to invest that so that we can perform well at that price point? It's all about how are you going to perform so that we attract those offers in the fewest amount of days, because days on market is truly our biggest threat to the success of your sale. It is all about a quick sale. And it's funny though, you'll find these clients, won't you, that if you've done your job and done it well, those days on market won't be hardly anything, right? And then they're like, well, you sold that so fast, maybe we sold it for too little, or maybe we didn't need to do all of that. And it's like, all of those different, the recipe that we use to bake the cake here is what got us those quick results. So they were not for naught. It was perfect that we priced it lean and presented it as well as we did. Your finishes need to be competitive at your price point. And we take into account that neighborhood spread. What's my spread here? Consider how much there is to gain before suggesting those improvements. If there's not much of a spread, if the highest price point in home in that neighborhood is only $2,000 or $3,000, $4,000 more, let's really consider whether or not we need to invest that money. Right? We don't always, we rarely get dollar for dollar back on what we put into each individual project. It's as a whole, we reduce those days on market, reduce those carrying costs, the expense of those carrying costs, right? And attract a quality offer. Offers that wind up driving that price up sometimes even, right? So if homes in your neighborhood with nicer finishes and amenities are not fetching significantly more, than consider opting out of making those improvements. So talk about the spread and what is there to gain here, right? Takes money to make money. How much do you want to make? How much can we even make? So let's not overdo it if we don't need to. Will I regret? What will I get if I just sell it as is? You ever get clients to say that? Well, what if we just sell it as is, like this? We'll just kind of clean it up. My go-to response to that is always, Oh, really clearly, I can tell you what will you get? Lengthy days on market, resulting in a negative stigma that attracts lowball offers. That's what you're going to get. How do you like that? And just furthermore, that's not the way I operate. That's bad business. And so, you know what? I know the name of a realtor who'd be really happy to help you with that. Boom, boom, boom. I'm happy to refer that one out because that's not the kind of business that I do, and nor is it a part. It's not the reason that I have the reviews that we have that made you call me today, right? Staged homes. I'm going to give you guys just a handful of updated stats, so that it's less for you, but it's the ones that I think are important to convey to your client. Okay, staged homes tend to sell for between 6 to 25% more than homes that have not been successfully staged, professionally staged. So let's look at how that equates, guys. Let's do the math. Y'all are good with numbers. So say I've got a $300,000 home. That's anywhere between, we can gain between an $18,000 to a $75,000 improvement. We're talking about, what's the cost of staging it? Certainly less than $18,000, wouldn't you say? Right? If I've got a $500,000 home, look at the spread that we're looking at bringing back as a result of having professionally staged it, between 30,000 and 125. It's amazing. And I love seeing these stats. I hear stories and stats because I'm a member of different staging groups. I like to follow what they're doing and watch the pros who are doing it amazing. Hear the kind of results they get, and I hear it on a daily basis. We got above asking price in less than 5 days, this much more. So this is not just coming from a theoretical or a stats perspective. This is coming from, again and again, hearing true stories of listings that are falling in between that 6 to 25% more than homes not professionally staged. And on average, staged homes sell about 88% faster, pretty faster, and for about 20% more. So right there in between, look at that. Let's look at another way of looking at this, and another way of expressing this to your clients is that homes that are staged before they hit the market spend 90% less time on the market. And when we talk about days on market being the biggest threat to a quality offer, this is pretty significant. Read this right here. Vacant and occupied homes previously on the market, unstaged and not sold. So look at that. Unstaged homes spent an average of 184 days on market. After ones that had been on the market, it's tough to turn a stigma around. But once they did the work and relisted it, just about 41 days was the average. Those who staged before they hit the market, because first impressions are everything. Buyers judge a home based off first impressions. We know this from the National Association of Realtors. Okay, and that happens in 23 days. So there's some motivation for your clients to get on board with the work that we need to do. We can also consider the cost. Some people are reward based, other people are consequence based. So if you realize that your client might be more motivated by the cost of not doing the work, right, we can come over here. If you haven't, this calculator has been provided by the Real Estate Staging Association. It's been around for, I'd say, for several years now. There's a link to it below, stagingsavings.com/staging savings. I'm considering putting it on my resources page for you guys because I know that y'all go there. And according to National Association of Realtors, we know that 78% of just all expired listings that failed, are vacant. There's no lifestyle there to trigger that imagination that has them remember that listing or even get the sense that they want it. So that's an overwhelming majority of failed listings because they didn't add anything to glom onto, okay? So what I've done here is I put in my own numbers over here to show you guys an example, and there's the instructions on the left side where it's an active calculator, and you go in and put their mortgage, the monthly carrying costs. I even kept that rather low. And right beside it, you can see the little question marks. They're going to give you more instruction. If you have any question about each little section, months on market when unstaged, reduction in months when staged. Typically, we're going to get that home sold within 30 days. So if I say that months on market unstaged is 8 months, the reduction in months when staged, it will typically be 7 months, right? I'm just going to be on the market about 30 days maximum. Okay. And then that you put in what it costs you to stage, and then it gives you the calculation of cost to list it unstage, what you can expect to be paying with all that carrying cost, all that time versus unstage. So that's kind of a helpful thing if you got a numbers person and a consequence-based person. All right. What is the cost though of an average staging? If you just got to wrap your head around it, if you're newer to the business, the cost of home staging is always less than your first price reduction, right? So we know that. We know that. That's from Barb Schwartz, the mother of home staging. She coined that back in the early 80s, that phrase, and it sticks true today. Staging consults with quotes, giving me the estimate, are going to average around 125 on up to 300 if you've got a large luxury listing with a lot more square footage. So that's for the game plan from them. They're going to show up, give you their time and their talent and that estimate. Furnishing rentals tend to average about between 300 to 600 per room. And typically, if you're working with a professional outside stager, right, they're going to require a contract there. I typically don't like to, I like to, well, we're going to look at that, our different systems. And then last but not least is the staging costs start around, just on average, if I just go, what is it going to cost me to stage like a really tiny house, maybe around $1,500 on up to $10,000 if I've got a massive luxury listing requiring finer furnishings and more of them, right? One of my favorites y'all can steal is don't decrease the price. We're going to increase the demand, right? Inflating that price and then decreasing it by these massive amounts is an older way of doing business, an out of date, lower level of service. What we're here to do, I'm here to help you do, is increase the demand. That's what I'm an expert at, increasing the demand for your property. All right. Does your client have unrealistic expectations? Well, I'll tell you right now, most of them do, don't they? They either have an unrealistic, thank you, Regina, you're in agreement, right? It's either they think that they can do less and still get top dollar. They think that they don't have to follow the rules and they're going to get top dollar. They also are psychologically predispositioned to believe that what they own is worth more than what everybody else believes it's worth. That's a psychological predisposition that has been tested over and over. So we are already dealing with that disorder. So we need to pay attention to the unsuccessful listings in their neighborhood. What has withdrawn? What has expired? What has lengthy days on market to confirm what isn't working, right? Regarding price and presentation. So I do, even though we're always so zeroed in on the solds, for our comps, and that rings true. It's not true information unless it's sold, except for in this case, if I've got clients with unrealistic expectations, I need to clarify for them. Let me show you how they did it. They sold it as is and didn't provide the staged look, and look what's going on for them. Or look at them. They asked for more than what it was worth and they're still sitting there. And this is where your personal stories really come to play, right? You need to walk in ready to share, because we know that there's something called the projection theory. And if you can tell a story where your home seller relates to the protagonist in your story, and you talk about how a similar situation came up and how they priced it too high against your recommendation, this is what happened. Or a success story, a family just like you, I know they wanted this, they wanted more, but what we did was we followed the pricing strategy that I'm suggesting to you today, and we let the market drive that up, and they achieved the number that they wanted, but we didn't list it at that number because that number does not follow the comps. There is a method to our madness. Share that success story with them. So we're going to share success stories and consequences. We're also going to clarify. There's a lot of noise out there right now about listing services, just giving full listing price. What they don't talk about are the very real massive fees and higher percentages of commissions. I have an agent I was talking on the phone with a couple of weeks ago, and she said, oh yeah, I nearly lost the listing to Zillow, one of these, there was a whole listing service. She goes, until I pointed out that she was going to pay over 30 grand in fees and commissions, right? And she said, I can get that help you get this place ready for significantly less. And you know what my commission fees are, right? It's all going to be less than 9%. We can do better. I can do better for you. So don't let them get fooled. They'll think, well, I can just get full listing price and not lift a finger over here. No, you get what you pay for, guys. Right? So we need to sometimes debunk these unrealistic ideas. And they're being fed a lot of unrealistic ideas about listing services somehow being able to do more for them. And we know that's not true. We can do better for them. Right? So talk about those consequences. Identify the cost of not doing the work, lengthy days on market, and below value offers. All right, let's get into some foundational stuff. Let's get in there. Unless anybody's got a question. I wish sellers knew that. I know. Exactly. Thank you, guys. I love seeing you engaged. Just because you put $100,000 in doesn't mean you'll get it. What do you think about virtual staging? Oh, this was a great question. I'll answer this one. What do I think about virtual staging in photos as an alternative? I have mixed feelings about it. If you work with a really good virtual staging company, and there's one that I like to recommend because they do a very good job. They get scale, and that's the problem with a lot of home virtual staging companies. They don't get the scale right, and the scale is very deceiving. They'll put in what looks like an 8-person kitchen table and what is really just like a little breakfast nook. And it creates a lot of distrust. And so a really great company is called boxbrownie.com. They consistently are doing really good work for realtors, and there is a time and place for it. Sometimes there are things beyond your control. It is trash day when your photographer went out there, and in the view, you got everyone's trash is on the street. You've got a neighbor who had a visitor come up, and their clunky, old truck that's red is in next door, and now becomes the focal point of the picture. We need to just cut that stuff out. So there's things where situations happen where you need that photo remedied. There's also times where maybe there's just a distracting, like there was a little hole in the wall, in the drywall. There's a little this or that we just need a little touch up. Maybe you didn't want to pay for the upgraded twilight photo. Well, now I can just pay between $25, $30, or $40, and I can get a gorgeous twilight version of my photo for that lead shot that I'm gonna blast out everywhere. So, and there was a situation where we had this older woman. She was like literally in her 90s, and her home was full of precious antiques. It was too much liability to move it all out, just to store it, to move them again. It was not your normal furniture, and no one could get it around it. So that was a virtual staging opportunity, okay, where we virtually staged it. But if you do that, make it very clear, and then also provide a photo of the virtual staging. They need to see the continuity. Thank you, Susan, you're in agreement, right? We need to see that continuity. So when I get there and maybe I'm shopping with my partner, and I've told them how this home is beautiful and spacious and amazing. I don't want to feel crazy when I show up and it's cluttered. I want to go, oh, here's the photo. See, there it is. See it, and we kind of transpose it on the experience that we're having there. All right, so a little continuity goes a long way. And there we go. Michael says their MLS doesn't even allow virtual staging with furniture. I wonder if they would allow it just to remedy a situation like, the trash can in the front or something. I don't know. Good confirmation from another agent. Rachel Brooks-Brownie does do a great job. Yeah, just keep that disclaimer in there, because the last thing we want to do is lose trust, right? Or start from a disappointment. All right, so let's explore some of our business models, right? This is some foundational stuff. If I'm going to achieve this look, how is my business structured? We've got a few slides here. So, option A, hold on, let me get some people muted here. Mute all, okay. Option A is where the agent pays for a home staging consultation. That has become, talk about a standard expectation. They want to know, they want to know who your stager is, what is your staging policies, and how are you going to help them best get their home ready. Those are the folks that have been watching a lot of HGTV, right? They know about it. They want the results, and they want you to tell it. They want to hear about it. And then there's the other part, the growing. It's becoming more of a minority at this point now, but there's definitely people who don't know much about it, and those are the ones you have to really come in and educate about the value and the reason why you're making them work so hard. But so the standard is that you're going to have a home staging consultation, right? So the client goes into contract with the stager for the services. Please, you hope they do that. The client doesn't, and you become the project manager. Congratulations. Whether you like it or not, but at least you have that report to follow. So you don't have to be a design-minded person, and you can still pull it off. Just follow. As long as you can follow instructions, you'll do just fine. But now, how do we pay for it? Let's talk about that. There's a lot of different ways to cut that cookie. We can offer, I'm hearing from agents. These are all, some are from personal experience. My husband's the realtor. He was before he went back to becoming, back to the studio as a full-time potter. That's why I have such a beautiful mug this morning. But other ones are from you guys, you know, the ones that I keep hearing consistently. Some offer a flat dollar amount that pays for the stager consult and a portion of the make ready. They'll also ask oftentimes for the homeowners to match it. Say, we're in this together. So for example, the $1,200 is what has come up a number of times, and then different dollar amounts, but that $1,200 is going to pay for that consultation and then invest whatever is left. And that doesn't just go to anything. It's what the stager's recommendations were for. That's what we're going to spend that extra money on. And if you can match me on that, we're going to be just fine. Right? We're going to hit that $2,400 mark. In my experience, staging a home of all sizes, I typically wound up, you know, investing about $2,400. 25 is you know, but I'm not this scenario. I'm going to be on the next screen as the stager realtor. This is me right now hiring an outside stager, so I can do the flat dollar amount. I can also offer a 0% make ready loan to cover the improvements. These costs are reimbursable, fully reimbursable to you at closing, and you need to use title to assist you with that. Okay, a lot of agents are doing that. I've got one. She is a rock star realtor in Austin, Diller Schwartz. She's got a reputation. If somebody else can't get it sold, call Diller, and Diller gets top dollar. She does it because she keeps about 30 grand in the bank specifically to loan out to her clients so that they can get the new countertops, get the backsplash, change the flooring, do whatever needs to be done. Right? And then she gets that money paid back at the close, and they all made more than they would have otherwise. So she keeps this reservoir available to them and keeps a list, and they just pay it back when they're done. Brokerages are now offering the same thing, a 0% make-ready loan for their agents to access for their clients, or they're incorporating a staging service within the brokerage that the agents can use. All right. I know Compass was doing that. I was real happy to see that. And then here on the end, pick and choose projects to split the cost on. Some of us just do that. Where, for example, the home is not selling, you're the second or third agent, and the client can't afford to paint the cabinets, but you know that is what's keeping it from selling, right? So this is where the smart agent, this was a personal story. She said, you know what? It was ridiculous. I could come in and offer to pay half of the cost. I said, look, if I can pay half of it, do you think we can do this? We'll get him painted. She paid $1,750. He paid the other $1,750, right? They got that property sold, and she made about a $13,000 commission. Right? You got to spend money to make money. And I'll tell you what's very convincing is when you put a little skin in the game, right? This is all about, if you're into real estate investing, this is what we're talking about here. This is real estate investing. You're investing a small amount of money to make a much larger sum back. And some agents are too tight, too scared, too stingy to put their own money in the game. And then guess what? 6 months later, when it hasn't sold, you're fired. Someone else gets to walk in and be a little bit braver and get it done, takes it to the finish line, right? They're willing to make the smart investments that make all the difference. Another way, a lot of us are converting into becoming what I think will be the future of real estate agents, becoming a stager realtor. A staging realtor provides the evaluation themselves, right? They are a staging realtor. They have a staging designation. There are several companies, there's a handful of companies that are producing really amazing staging realtors. They're realtors who decide they want this skill set themselves, and they want the designation that speaks to their experience and their education about it. I've got my favorite that I think is doing the best job. I'm always putting out resources that I think are doing the best job for you guys, and that's the By Design Staging Studio. And you can find them, actually, I do have them on my resources page. So they're like what our dynamic was, right? Because even I'm not the realtor, the husband's the realtor, I'm the stager, but together we work so tightly. So first way to pay for it, we've got all the same scenarios available as the outside stager scenario, okay? All of those payment structures are available to us, but we also have some additional options that we can play with. One is, this is something that we did a lot. I would cut it up. I'd say if it's home maintenance, if it's maintenance that has been deferred, you've deferred that maintenance for 10 years, that's on you. That's on you in your pocketbook. Or go get a Home Depot card. We got to do what we got to do because there's a look that gets the result that you want. So go get that Home Depot card and get this done. You know, go buy those appliances from the Sears or JCPenney's has got a home with financing. It's like a 90 to $120 financing, AKA pay at close, right? So, because we're going to get that home sold, but we need to get an updated refrigerator in here. So, you know, I am quite demanding, but I'm always also associating the results to it. So if it's deferred maintenance, that's on the client's pocketbook. If it was home furnishings, anything in the staging department, that was from us, because we were a staging realtor building up our inventory. And I only buy inventory as needed, never in before. It's as I need more. And I'll tell you what, I always need light upholstery, white lamps, white stone top tables, lots of glass, lots of white, light colored jute rugs. I'll use their dining table, but I'm going to bring in some white chairs and some light draperies. We're always trying to lighten and brighten, right? But I only purchased as needed per listing, and then slowly but surely build up my inventory. And it was no cost to our client. I'd say I will bring in everything that we need, anything that we're lacking. As long as you can follow on the list, I'm going to check off the ones that you're going to be responsible for. Another great way is saying that all the furnishings are available from my inventory at no cost, but I do require a $500 delivery fee. One of my favorite staging realtor teams in DFW up in Plano, does a lot of high-end luxury listings. She's got a reputation now for, call her, your home will never look so good or sell for more. She's amazing, Carol. This is from her business model. She says, you know what, we will provide all the furnishings, but we do require a $500 delivery fee. This will get the furnishings from our warehouse onto the truck to your home and in your house. I'll have it moved around. I can do the, work with you on the placement, but and then picking it up and destaging it. So, I mean, in this situation, I mean, it's her brother-in-law who's got a trailer. We've all got somebody we know, whether it's a college kid, a high school student, a brother-in-law, a son who has got the truck or the trailer, and you just kind of get your little gig going and you go, I got another one. I'm going to send you a list of what I need pulled from the storage. All right. She's gotten real high tech. She's got little scanner SKUs on everything, and they go in and it generates a list. So she's gotten real high tech with it, but it's like anything. It just gets more refined as you work it. It works when you work it, and it gets better. All right. And then last but not least, all furnishings are available from my inventory at a significantly discounted rental fee. And then you may also want to add on that truck and delivery fee. Okay, these are some ways that people are working it, because I know that there's a lot of questions and there's a lot of different ways to do it. Okay, I'm watching my chat. Everybody's with me. Okay. Something else I'm loving is the realtor collaboration. I'm seeing in my little teams, they're hiring on a stager as a permanent member of their little real estate team. And that's working really well. And then they pull together and share their furnishing resources. As a solopreneur, not a part of a team, this is so fun. I've seen a couple of agents doing this where they actually take turns acting as, the role of the stager for the other realtor as needed. And they just take turns doing that. When I've got a brand new listing, you're going to play the role of the staging, just so that we can diversify roles. I'm going to come in talking about, all the things that I need to, negotiations and contracts and marketing and all of this. And I'm going to allow the other one to evaluate the home, play the role of the stager, generate that report, and it's a nice division of role, and build out your team. Even though they are both independent, they take turns acting as that stager role for the other. All right. And then, of course, we've got, as a solopreneur, collaborating with a handful of other independent other independent agents to negotiate best pricing from a stager. And we all commit to using her, saying, we love your level of service. You are going to be our first go-to. We want priority status. We want to know that you're going to be over there, and that we're going to, y'all are the masters of negotiating. So getting in there and pulling your buying power from her to negotiate better rates for your clients. That's been something else that's been quite successful. All right. So there's different things to think about. If we had more time in this class, I'd love to just kind of hear from you guys too, some success stories and things that are working. And I always invite you to share with me via email if it's something that you think is going to help other agents. Share your systems with me, and then I'll be sure and continue to communicate that with others. If it's something that's helping you, please shoot me an email at abbyvosick@gmail.com, or leave it here in the chat. If it's something that you've been doing that has been really working and helping you get to the finish line with that look that gets the top dollar. Now, things that we need to be thinking about, guys, we've got to get our policies. There is nothing more beautiful than policies. I love boundaries, right? Tall fences make great neighbors. We need policies. Policies protect you and depersonalize these things that are not always comfortable to say, right? So you need to be exploring, what is your damage policy? If the client treats your staging furnishings that you have so graciously brought into their home, and they treat it with such disrespect, or accidents happen, but often there's a precursor to that accident happening. They allowed that baby on that fine thing, or that dog on that thing. They allowed the circumstances to be that. Now, damage policy. Soft goods is a big one that comes up. Just your soft goods policy. Some people will not bring it. Like, if you have cats, if you're going to have cats in the home, I won't be bringing in my upholstery furniture, or I won't be bringing in, I don't provide bedding, because you're sleeping in it and you're using it. So some people have cutoff points around that stuff. That goes into usage, like the bedding is usage, the dishes. You might say things like, this dining table is set, and it's something that I would always instruct my clients to stack up the dishes and put it into a laundry basket. Everything that's on that staging table, if it's an occupied listing and they need to use the dining room table, I get it. Just put it all into the laundry basket, put it off to the side. It's easy to bring back out and reset back up for the next showing, but don't be using these dishes. Don't be throwing them in your sink and put them in the dishwasher. Don't be chipping my stuff. Don't be messing with it. Okay. That's usage policies. Something that I do too, a little side note, is I always take a photo with just my iPhone even. I'll say, this is your bed dressed picture. You'd be amazed at how they can mess it up and try and redress it and not do it correctly. Here is your table, kitchen table set. So before every showing, I want you to review these photos and make sure that you've reset it up. If you have used the space and destroyed the stage look, this is how you reset it. All right. Mixing theirs and yours is a big one, right? Some stagers are all or nothing. Now, that's not me. I was always happy to play with their stuff. And in my theory is always just, I want to infuse some more contemporary, fresh Scandinavian, fresh elements, mid-century modern, hip, industrial into the otherwise overly traditional environment to bring in that very eclectic look that gets results. But not everybody. Some people say it's all or nothing. If it's occupied, it's either I'm going to play with your stuff and try and make it look as good as I can, or move out all your stuff and we'll bring in my stuff. That some of those agents that feel really strongly about that wind up excelling in vacant staging. Right? They do better in vacant homes. I've lost more books and pillows because we just got them all mixed up in their stuff. I'm like, was that your book or my book? You know, let's talk about limited mixing theirs and yours, limited supply. Oh, sometimes I'll say, guys, you have access to anything that I have available. Now I've got 3 current listings, so my availability of my sofas, I'm out of that. I'm out of this. And so what do we do when that happens? For me, what I would do is I would hop on Wayfair, right? And if you start doing this enough, you can apply for a trade account and you can really get some nice additional savings for your clients. I would hop on Wayfair because it's free delivery for anything over $50 and it will arrive within 48 hours typically, that's the name of the game for us, right? And so I will pick out sometimes 2. I don't like to give too many options, but about 2, maybe 3, but usually 2 options, a more expensive option and a lesser, more affordable option. And you can create a little tear sheet and I'll say, guys, look, we are going to need an updated little sofa in here, or we are going to need a large 9x12 rug in here. I've sent you a couple of tear sheets on the different ones. Pick the one that you want. Pick the one that you're going to enjoy taking with you to the next home the most. I mean, who doesn't need a beautiful, larger area rug? And particularly once they see how beautiful their home is, how many times have we had that experience where they'll say, oh my God, why wasn't I living like this all these years? Why wasn't I living like this? This is so beautiful. It actually breaks my heart. I have more clients get their home to the place that they always wanted it right before they move, right? So just tell them which one to buy. The reason that they often don't buy is analysis paralysis. They don't know. A confused mind does not take action. So if I'm confused, I just won't buy. And I'll keep living with that ugly sofa for another 3 years. So I'll say, look guys, this is a really affordable little sofa. I think it's going to do what we need in the family room, but it'll be a great little piece for you to take on from here and use. Throw out that old one. It's time for something new. They typically are on board. My clients, most of them like to shop. They don't mind shopping, especially if you can attach it to them taking it into their new home with them as soon as we get a quality offer. So that's what I do when I have a limited supply. But sometimes, other times, I'll just go out and shop and buy more, right? Go buy what I need. But otherwise, it turns into a client purchase. Delivery and destaging, you need to talk about your policies about that and whether or not that is all included, or if you need their financial assistance on that, what do you require? And for what are your policies? Everything must be, for me, I always said, I'm not bringing my stuff over until everything has been decluttered according to, all of my recommendations and cleaned. I'm not going to move in clean, beautiful furniture into a dirty home. I've straight up turned around with my moving van because I walked in and was so disappointed they had not followed instructions. They took it lightly. I said, nope, not happening today. And now you have just delayed the listing of your home. When you're ready, we'll be there. You don't need to be surfing through their dirty laundry. They do not. You know what I mean? What are your policies about showings? As far as everything, for me, that's more about, I want you to follow, refer to your photos, and I just give instructions about what they can expect from me as far as direction on showings. Landscaping and inside plants, you may have policies about that, like, and I'll have them sign that they agree to this. Depending on what sort of plants we're using, there may be instructions that I'm going to ask that they follow in order to keep the integrity of the plants if I'm using live plants. Therefore, a lot of reasons why I don't use live, like this guy, right? He's not live. um, and then landscaping, that's an interesting one too. I require them, if we're going to invest this in the property, I need for you to take care of it. Vacant consults and furnishing contracts, those are really great. A lot of vacant stagers, have the policy that it's going to cost like $75 for you to do the walkthrough, but if you agree to what they suggest as far as the furnishing packages, then they'll go ahead and apply that consultation fee to the new furniture that's going to be used in the space. So there's just different policies you'll find that are available there for you, mostly working with a stager there, but you might want to use the same ones for your own business. All right. Ooh, wrong way. And then we're going to get into some partnerships. No clean, no furniture. I like that. I'm checking my little chat over here. Okay, good, good. So we didn't have any questions about how we're paying, ways that we're getting it done. Okay, we're looking good. Y'all, what are some of the common improvements that you come across? I'm going to take a sip of my coffee and look here at this chat. After this slide, after this little section, we're going to take just a quick little break. Thank you, paint. And paint for what, right? We've got our exterior paint, we've got our interior walls, and we've got our cabinetry, right? And the guy who paints my cabinets might be different than the guy who paints the exterior of the home. Am I right? Kitchen backsplash and countertops. Yes, floors, kitchen countertops. Again, right? Paint, paint, paint. How about scraping popcorn? How about what else? Come on. There's a few things that always come up. Let's see. Fixtures. Thank you. Fixtures. I mean, just in the same way an accessory can make an outfit. My outfit is pretty boring today until I threw on this fixture. It is the jewelry of the home, and it can update it so quickly. If I've got a dark Tuscan home, I'll throw in, take down that heavy wrought iron fixture and bring in something light and beautiful and current and a little more contemporary. Oh, and now I've hit that mark that my client doesn't walk in and go, oh, this is not me. Instead, they go, oh, this is cool. This is up to date. Bathroom update, big time, as in, changing out the sinks, getting in a big, beautiful rain shower head, things like that, and more, right? Adding new lighting in there. How about, so come on, let's see some more. What are common improvements that you come across needing? Pilar, backyard and fences, I swear, sometimes they are like the forgotten zone, and they shouldn't be, because an outdoor living area is the #1 outdoor element that people are looking for. They want a little living area, as in something that's shaded and it feels lovely and landscaped and has some potted plants around it and some chairs and a little coffee table. That's what we're talking about for outdoor living area. Don't let it be a forgotten zone. It's #1 on their outdoor interests. All damaged trim, thank you. Those details right there. And trim molding is one of the more affordable fixes, right? We can come in and either by painting it, sanding it, painting it, or replacing it, or adding crown molding to a room that needs more formality, or because I want to create the illusion of a higher ceiling. Scratch doors and windows, thank you, like the patio, right? You can you can just feel the corrosion and the dirt and if you're not a big pet lover, then it's going to be a hard no. It's going to be, this is not me. I don't want this, right? Sheetrock cracks. Good thing wall panels are so in right now. fixes a myriad of wall issues. So if we're using large, full, complete wall panels, or we're just putting in a chair rail and some wainscoting underneath it, wonderful fixes. Guys, these are all, and if you have any questions, there are 25 components to a home, and I've got that worksheet on the resources, page, abbyvossick.com. Go to resources and then go to the Make Ready classes. I've got those pinned resources for you. It's a little worksheet that goes through the 25 components of a home, and if you don't already have 1, 2, or 3 names written down for the people that are your craftsmen, because the thing is, we need to develop partnerships with them. And by that, I want us to negotiate priority treatment. Say, you know what, I'm going to use you. You're going to be my go-to painter. I love your quality of work and the price that you offer it. But what I want is that to really solidify this arrangement, time is of the essence. And this level of a state of treatment and anything else that feels priority treatment that you need or want to provide that level of service that you feel comfortable, that will be consistent for your clients, then that is what you negotiate with them and say, you're going to be my go-to guy if I can know that you're going to be over to my clients' homes to give them an estimate within 24 hours. Whatever, that's typically what I like. Just promise me if you're going to be my go-to that you'll work in my people first. Okay. Sometimes you can negotiate net 30 with them, because oftentimes you've got it closed, and if not, you pull it from your resources. Now, a lot of craftsmen cannot afford that, right? And I don't want to put them out. I don't want to be the one that really puts the squeeze on them. Sometimes I can just negotiate to pay for the materials now and then net 30 on the labor, or pay it close on the labor. I let them understand, look, this is going to be repeat business for you again and again and again. But if I am willing to give that to you, funnel that to you, this is different. The name of the game for real estate is different, and there's a lot of expenses up front, and then we get really flush at the end. So what can we do together to make this a really successful relationship? And then, of course, it is clearly defined standards and communication practices. And guys, nothing sells it better to your client when you can talk about your team, not just, I can give you a couple of names that you can call. No, talk them up, especially when you're not in your power zone, when you're outside of your area of expertise. Defer to them. Say like, oh my gosh, John is amazing when it comes to countertops. He knows everything about them. He's going to be able to answer that question better than I can even. But that's why he's he's an excellent member of my team. I love John. He's great. He's done X, Y, and Z for my previous clients. Start talking up your craftsmen, all right? Because they raise and elevate your game, all right? Does that all make sense? Good. All right, we're going to get into some communication. I typically like to take a break in a class that's more than an hour. We're going to take a super fast break. So it's 11:12. Come back in 10 minutes. Okay, that gives you time to use the bathroom, make the phone call that you need to make, refill your coffee super fast, and get back in this seat. Okay, we're going to hit the ground running on the final section of communication. All right, so page 1, we're well and present. On page 2, if you're there, let me just give you a little check-in if you can. Let me see ya. Maribel, Chelsea, Helen, Vicky, Monica, Norma, Sam, Susan, Flor, Anna. There you are. Connie, thanks for checking in, love. I appreciate it. Alicia, upside down, but good to see ya. Thank you, Lionel. Perfect. Annie, oh, hi, girl. You must have some people. Kimberly, I see you. Elizabeth, Maribel. Good, 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 good. A few more of you. Pilar, let me see ya. Thank you. Hi, Maribel. Perfect. Okay, good. This is me, as a provider, I have to, hi, Michael. Good to see you in that big old handlebar mustache. Sir. There we go. Alicia, you got yourself back right. Good, good, good. Monica, let me see you. Vicky Cowell, Susan Vesta. All right, let's see ya. Okay, we are going to start sharing our screen. All right, all right. Let's get back to communication, which is where this all boils back down to, folks. again, we can know all this information, but unless we can communicate it with confidence, good luck getting them on board, right? Well, welcome to the struggle. Oh, quick question. I see someone's asking about CE. After class today, I will be sending out invoices. So it'll actually probably be this evening or first thing tomorrow morning, because I do have some other meetings planned for today. But I'll email them to you, to the email you registered with, if you asked, if you said yes for CE. If you did not say yes and you've changed your mind, I always have a few that do, shoot me an email to abbyvosek@gmail.com, and I'll put that up on the screen again at the end of class today. All right, if you signed up for CE, don't create a redundancy by sending me an email saying you want it. I see it on the registration that you said yes. All right, and I'll send you that invoice. The good news is we don't have to do DocuSigned rosters anymore. That was really delaying the process, getting those out to everyone and getting them back within the time frame. You all know I have a time frame with Trek that I can submit the credit for a particular class. So get those invoices paid quickly. All right. Perfect. Let's talk about communication, right? The attitude, the strategies, succinctly communicating my strategies. That's my favorite part. The timing of doing it, because we don't always we don't just say everything up front. There is a strategy even to when and how we say certain things. And how do I organize all of this? So let me hop on over here and click it. Boom. So we are going to start with the ABCs of your listing language. I'm going to give you some examples. So the old ABCs of real estate used to be what? Always be closing. And that was a hard sell. We don't really hard sell in today's culture as much. It's more of a soft sale, right? It is about building relationship and trust and attraction rather than hard promotion. And it must be always benefit centered. After everything you say, ask yourself, how does that help them? How does that help them? How does that help them learn to trust me? How does that help them better connect with the home? How does that feature relate to a lifestyle benefit? We never buy features. We buy the lifestyle benefit of that feature. Here's some examples. This beautiful two-story is a Tudor Ranch eclectic with an almost timeless architectural appeal. I don't just stop with it's a Tudor eclectic, or a Tudor Ranch eclectic in this case. What's the benefit of that, right? It's located on a corner lot in the Rio Vista neighborhood, offering a larger yard than most homes in this desirable neighborhood near the town center, right? Layer in the benefits of location. If I'm talking location, what are all the benefits? Let's talk features. When we step inside, you'll notice the hardwood floors move throughout the downstairs, offering a warm, solid surface with a lifetime of durability. So notice here the connective phrases. If you have not taken the listing language class with me, that completely, we spend 2 hours reframing and working on your communication, both the written and the spoken. And something that we learn is connective phrases. There you see one. Hardwood floors move throughout, that's connective phrase, the downstairs, offering, and then they always say we're connecting it to a benefit, right? Offering a warm, solid surface with a lifetime of durability. Next, even when you talk about yourself, when you say your name, who you are, how does it benefit them? I'm Abby Vosek, a trusted real estate resource that you can count on to help you get the most for your sale, the sale of your home. Right? So I don't say my name without connecting it to a benefit, especially if I'm making a video. Why should they listen to me? Because I'm a trusted real estate resource that can help you get the most for the sale of your home. And then I go into whatever it is I'm going to teach them that day. All right? Or I'm Regina Jackson, a luxury real estate agent on the hunt for your dream home and reminding you to never settle for less. Right? So whatever that is, that's something else that we work on in that class is if you don't already have a nickname that associates with what you are, the passionate part of real estate, what you are best at, that's what I want you to focus on. What part of this am I best at? Because there's a lot of parts to this real estate transaction, right, that you have to perform, but there is something in there that you truly love the most. That's what we want to continue to brand moving forward, because Guys, your vibe is your tribe, and if you don't have a vibe, you're lost in the noise. We have got to be able to better identify with you. My brain on the other end as the viewer will remember you better if you associate it with something that I can now identify. Who does that mean to be Regina Jackson? Oh, she's that luxury agent. She's the one that she is always finding the most luxurious, perfect fit. Give me something to attach my understanding of who you are. Without it, you're just another realtor in a sea of realtors, and you will not stand out or be memorable. So if you don't already have that, or you don't understand that more fully, we've got a class on it, and you can join it. Join it and learn. All right. So that's what I mean by always benefit centered. You, features, the home, location, condition, price, whatever it is, connect the dots. All right, to the benefits. So when I start in a listing presentation, I always like to just start at the foundation, and I'll say, let's just look here at the flow of a real estate transaction. And by the way, Independence Title, my reps, ask one of them for their branded version of this. They have a beautiful flow of real estate transaction. I want to update this presentation with theirs. So get that from them, because what I like to do is I've put an arrow here at the beginning. I'll say, guys, we're going to just start at the beginning. And while there are a lot of moves that happen and a lot of different hoops that we're going to jump through as we move to the closing table, I want to look right here at the very beginning, and then I ask them a question. This is actually on my worksheet. I always ask new clients, this is number 9. When was the last time that you bought or sold a home? When was the last time you sold a home? And they'll tell me. And if it is something if it's even 3 or 4 years prior to now, I'll go, I validate the objection that is about to come up in their head. If we don't validate and bring out objections, guess what they do? They become negative mantras in their head, and they keep objecting internally. So we have to acknowledge it, say, you're going to probably recognize that our process, my pricing and presentation strategies are going to be quite different than what you did before. And when we're busting our butt to make this place look move-in ready, I won't be surprised if you say, I didn't have to do this before and I sold my home just fine. And that's true. I'll tell you what, I've been selling real estate for years, and I didn't have to do all of this either before. But today's buyer has shown us by their buying dollars that what they resonate with is that move-in ready, well-made, quality, staged look, and they will pay for it. They will. And so if we want those results, we're getting there a little bit differently than we used to. So this is the whole reason for starting out this transaction. I start out as though I'm educating them, just showing them, refreshing them. It's also something that I will include in my follow-up afterwards in my little folder that I follow up with them, or in my email attachments. Okay? Is this just a little refresher? If it's been a while, there's a lot of different hoops that we're going to have to jump through, starting with the very beginning at establishing this price and presenting this home. All right, we've got a lot of work to do in that section. And I'll tell you what, guys, I don't care how beautiful their home is, there's always a lot of work to do, because the way we live in a home and the way we sell it are ironically incredibly different. Okay, so if you came to my house right now, I don't care that I'm an interior designer. If you were to come to my house, it would not be ready for sale. The way we prepare it for sale is different than the way we live. Kind of funny. There's always a lot to work on. I continue the conversation with a screen like this. We're doing a lot of virtual listing presentations, folks. So we're getting together our screens so that we can move through a Zoom meeting with them and share content. And so prior to that, these were physical copies. This is a download. Everything that I do for you guys outside of class is just always available and for free. All I ever want from you is your success stories. Bring them back to me and tell me how it's working. So these 5 factors that determine a sale is something there that's on I think it's on the Make Ready on the resources page. It's part of a larger download. There are 5 factors that determine a sale. I want them to understand that, it's not just quite as simple as we always think. There's a lot of things that we have to consider, the amount of time, on the seller's time frame, the improvements that we can or can't accomplish in that time, the condition, the market is the biggest one that fluctuates. Your neighborhood in particular is going to be different. What's required is going to be different. So there's some different things. We have a few things to discuss before we really can determine your best pricing strategy. And the thing that I want us to really hone in on is finding your happy range. I want us to find that happy range. And y'all, this is no small thing. I repeat this over and over, that happy price range. Because what I don't want to do is get my clients like they like to do, which is fixate on a certain number, even though we know it's all going to be a negotiation. Preparing them to be a little bit more fluid. And so as those offers come in that are within that really happy range, we're not going to get fixated on the fact that it's $600 less or this or that, and then just go, well, I'm not budging. It's in your happy range. It's a great offer. I'm so glad. So I begin to establish this. And also, I'm going to tell you, I don't like to fill in the price immediately, because the price hinges on the presentation. And so we don't know what that is going to look like until we've done the work. How much did they follow through on the recommendations that I made? And that will hinge on what the final price will be. So to put in a price seems a little premature. So for me, now check with your contemporaries, check with your broker about this. But what we've always done is in that listing presentation, we really get to figure out and work on bringing them into a realistic price range. And if they seem reasonable, we work with clients, reasonable people that treat us with respect and value what we do. Now, not everybody values what we do. That means they're not my client. They're not going to work the program, and it's going to get ugly, right? And they have to be reasonable. So I need to know that we are, yes, working within a reasonable. We have a little junior joining us, little cute baby. Want to come to real estate school? I love it. I know, I got my twins. They're over there on their computers. Once I know that they are reasonable, because I don't want to get myself in trouble, right? I don't want them to think that we're going to list super high and then, oh, we got a problem. So once I get them into a reasonable range, and I'll say, guys, anywhere in this range that is based on the comps in your neighborhood, is where we're going to land. And now where we land in that range really depends on how well we perform in the make ready process. And guess what that does? That creates motivation, people. If you dare us to write in exactly the number that they want, guess what? You gave it to them. So they're just going to sit back and expect that they're going to get that regardless of whether or not they have to earn it in the same way that you earn your commission, by committing to it, by focusing on it, by applying your resources and which is your time, your money, your energy, your love, right? Your prayers, everything that we do that gets it to the finish line, right? So we earn it and they have to earn it. That's the way. Tough love. So the attitude, you can see my attitude. I'm getting glistening here. My attitude. How do we motivate and encourage our clients to invest the time, attention, and money necessary to meet today's buyer standards? With our confidence. Confidence is contagious, and so is the lack of confidence. Vince Lombardi coined, I think, one of the most wisest quotes right here. Confidence is contagious. I am able to get clients to do things that other agents before them could never get them to do, because I'm so sure of myself and my recommendations. If you are not, they're going to feel that. Even if you're saying it, if you don't, all is felt, folks, all is felt. And so if you're not truly confident that they're going to have a more successful sales process by following your criteria, if you don't really believe it yourself, they won't believe it either. And that's the truth of it. So this is what we do, folks. I'm going to show you 3 screens, and this is what I want you to absorb. I want you to completely understand you are a high functioning professional dealing with an extreme amount of liability, something that is not unlike this doctor right here. So the attitude, whether, I don't care if I'm super outgoing and uplifting and positive and happy and like to be silly, but when it's time to get down to work, when I'm showing up, I show up with the attitude of a doctor. I'm here and I'm going to express a lot of concern along with confident reassurance. I'm concerned. Down below, I want to evaluate your property as soon as possible so that we can be sure you're ready when it's time to list your home. Curb appeal, by the way, is one of those ones that can get you over to their house very quickly. I like to say to people, if I even get wind that they're considering selling like next year, I'll say, you know what? I've completely retooled my team so we can do unbelievable things in a short amount of time on the interior of your home, but the exterior with curb appeal, especially here in Texas, sometimes it just straight up takes time to cultivate. So I'm going to call you next week and I'm going to come on by there because I'm concerned that I want to get your home evaluated so that we know what we're dealing with and we give ourselves the gift of time to cultivate what's necessary on your curb appeal, which, by the way, is the most important aspect of the sale of this home because buyers judge a home based off first impressions. And this happens in under 4 minutes, according to the National Association of Realtors. In fact, the first layer of their perception happens within the first 15 seconds, and that's all curb appeal. I'm coming, and I don't even ask them, can I call you and can I come over out of concern? I insist. I'll say, I'm going to give you a call next week and we're going to find a time where I can come by and take a look. And even better, I'll tell them that I might be bringing my landscaper or my stager with me if I feel like it's necessary. Right? Another example, I'm concerned this front yard is not going to send the right message to your buyer, but I've got a few ideas and some wonderful resources to remedy it. So it's this back and forth. I put the fear of concern out there, but I don't leave them there. The whole idea is you make them concerned. Now they thought they were fine. Now you let them know I'm really concerned. And then you come in with that confident reassurance. And that's how we begin to become invaluable to them. They begin to go, oh God, she's going to help us. An outgoing marketing message of yours can be, how soon is it to call your realtor? If you're considering making any improvements with resale in mind, it's never too soon. Contact me not only to unlock all of my available resources, but to also guide you in those selections so that when you are ready to sell next year or the year after, you have painted your the cabinets the appropriate color. You have made decisions that are on the front end of the trend. Call your realtor. It's never too soon to call your realtor if you're making improvements with resale in mind. That's a great outgoing marketing message for you. So sometimes we imagine ourselves like put on that doctor. Here's another one. Assume the energy of a high-paid defense attorney, right? I'm a lawyer, right? Don't ask permission to do your job. Stop asking permission. If a lawyer was in court, if they turned to me and asked me, do you think I feel like we should object here. Would you be comfortable if we objected? Right, Jeff, you get me. I'd be like, yeah, you're fired is what you are. I do not feel safe. Guys, when you exude authority, my shoulders as the client just relax because I know I am in safe hands. You're going to do what needs to get done to get the results that I've hired you for, regardless of whether I am emotionally today, right? You are the professional, cool, calm, confident, and executing what needs to happen. And you don't ask my permission. You just tell me what needs to happen. Examples. Guys, this color is beautiful as it is. This color is way too bold. I'm going to send my painter over to provide us with an estimate. Don't ask if you can send your painter over, because guess what? They'll say, no, I don't know if I want that. I don't know if I can afford it, blah, 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 blah. We're going to get this home neutralized. And so I'm going to get my painter over here to get us a couple estimates, okay, on that? You just tell them what you're doing. Let's take a look at our calendars to determine a good day for my home stager to come over and evaluate this home. Will you the only question I might ask is, will you open up your calendar? Because we're coming back over here with my stager, right? So stop asking permission to bring a stager over. I know a realtor who did that in San Antonio. She knew that it needed to be updated, but she made the fatal mistake of saying, can I get a stager's eyes on this? They said, we have paid so much for a professional interior designer. We have invested so much in this home. No, we're going to be just fine. And guess what? It sat there for 18 months and over $20,000 in price reductions and still no activity. Finally, because we grow at the speed of pain, they finally got so uncomfortable. They said, okay, fine, bring the stager over. Right? It's 18 months later. How many $1,000s lost? The stager came in who's trained to make low cost, high impact adjustments before they even got the professional to come over and take pictures. The realtor started taking pictures of the updated kitchen and those changes, those things that were objections in the buyer's mind, kicking them into the critical part of the brain and not allowing them to fall in love, right? We want to fall in love. And so she got the home sold. She started sharing on social media. Oh, it's really coming around. It's looking so beautiful. Started sharing pictures. She had agents calling. I bet somebody wants this. I bet somebody wants it. And they sold it. So let's avoid the painful process and get in there and do our job they've hired us to do. Stop asking permission. And the third, but last but not least, it also feels a lot like this, like a coach, right? So I'm going to focus on their strengths and their potential and keep reminding them that I see it and we're nearly there to the end zone. We're nearly there to the closing table. So I know that this is a lot of hard work, but transformation is in sight. You are nearly there, guys. I'm coaching them. I'm encouraging them. You have an exceptional home. And I know that once we remove all these objections, people are going to fall in love with it and they're going to start bringing you their best offers. That's what I do. I help people attract the most quality offers and multiples that often drive that price up. This is who you are. And don't for a second diminish the professional integrity that you are. You guys have to manage and negotiate and think of so much. You are a high professional. So the overall strategy, let's get into these. Very simple. Again, the sign of a professional is keeping it simple. Our overall strategy, we're going to give the buyer what they want. And if we can agree to give the buyer what they want to the very best of our ability, we're going to make a great team. And if we can't, that insinuates that if you're not committed to this, we are not going to make a great team. You're just not my client. All right. But I don't have to say that when I say this. Who is your buyer? If you're not already sure, you better get damn sure real quick. It's not a big blanketed. Every single one, and in the listing language class, we narrow in on that. If I don't know who my buyer is, then guess what? I've got a lot of questions around how to stage it, how to even raise or lower the sophistication of my language based on who I'm trying to resonate with. So get on there and start using your RPR. And if you're not sure how to use the real estate property resource, which will tell you everything about exactly who the buyer is for that home, then there is a wonderful class that Independence Title offers on how to use the RPR and get the most out of it. It is probably single-handedly one of my favorite resources for you. It'll even show you in the make ready stuff, it will show you what you can gain. Make these improvements in this neighborhood and you will appraise for this amount. I mean, it's unbelievable amount of support for you. So if you don't know how to use it, take their class on how to use it. My two-part make ready strategy, because this needs to be very clearly expressed to them. Well, how do we do it? Again, guys, we're going to keep it simple. I've got a very simple two-part strategy. What we do with every home is first, I remove all the objections that triggers the critical mind. And then we enhance all of the features and focal points. So I'm not staging every room. I'm not staging secondary bedrooms. Has a secondary bedroom ever sold a home? No. What I do in a secondary bedroom is just make sure that if there's carpet, I've got beautiful carpet lines with my vacuum cleaner. I've got an updated light fixture. The windows are clean and fresh. Bam. They don't deserve my time and my attention or my money because they don't sell the home. They are not a feature or a focal point. So when you find yourself overwhelmed, like there's so much square footage, there's so much to do, what are the features? Let your little realtor eye go straight to the features, and that is where we spend our time and our money. So back up. what defines an objection? It's not up to me. It's not subjective. There is a criteria, and you share this with your client in the get-go so that we're all in agreement what the criteria is. So we are going to remove all the objections, and it is an objection if does it hide the home? Does it date the home? Does it show deterioration? Does it offend or confuse? So if there's multiple little walkways up to the front door, that confuses me. That's an objection. If I don't know what this room is for and it's a significant room in the home, I don't know where to put the dining room table, that's an objection. It's confusing. All right? If it hides, if it dates, if it shows deterioration, if it offends or confuses. So let them know this is the criteria we're going to be using as we evaluate your home today. All right. And when you want to learn more about how to evaluate the home, that's in the real hands-on make ready. If you want to like brush up, maybe you're not ready to become an agent, stager, realtor, but you want to know more, we'll get you covered in there how to run those evaluations. I enhance features and focal points. So by adding or removing contrast, if I've got something that's really busy, say a lot of different intersecting trim painted all one color, I remove contrast to simplify. I add contrast in texture and color to draw my eye to something. So take it away or bring it to with contrast. Update the materials. So say you've got a gorgeous Viking, like 6-range cooktop. That is a major feature in that kitchen, right? But it's got an outdated Tuscan scenery and tile above it. Big problem. My eye is going to it, and now what am I seeing? I'm seeing something very dated. This is not me. I'm passing. Today's buyer doesn't put up with things that they used to put up with. Now they just go pass, because someone else out there is doing their work, is doing the job and getting it done. So that's where they're going to go. If you hold out on the buyer, if you just like withhold, they withhold on you. If you're not getting the showings and the offers, it's because you withheld. You wanted to save yourself a penny. They felt it, they see it, and they don't respond. So you get what you give, right? So you go, this is a feature, so this is a problem. We are going to update the materials. And what I'm going to do is we're going to do one of two things. My tile resurfacer will come in for a fraction of actually retiling it and just make it all white to match the rest of the subway tile or something. They'll just make it all one color. Or we're going to pop that out, chisel that part section out. This is an afternoon job. Section that out, and we're going to put in just a simple herringbone inlay right there, or one of those arabesque geometric inlays, and update that space because it deserves it. Why? Because it's a feature and it's a focal point and it's out of date. It's an objection. The other way we do it is by enhancing it with lifestyle. Right? So I've got a beautiful feature of a fireplace. Let's add some lifestyle to it, right? I want to see that open book and the beautiful pillow sitting there on the big mantle, or I want to see, something up, on the hearth, or I want to see something up, add that lifestyle. That's another way that we do it. And that's where the staging part comes in. Okay. Evaluation tips. I'm going to give you a few tips here. We are always going to be kind, but never too impressed. If you walk through there, I made a mistake years ago as a young designer, walking through the house that I was there to work on, and I'd be act so impressed because I wanted them to like me. And guess what? They lost respect for me, and they did not want to listen to anything I had to say after that because guess what? I just complimented everything. So they're fine, they're good. Right? Walk through, be kind. I'm always kind to the person. I'm hard on the home. I'm never impressed. Never impressed. Even if internally you are, hold it. Don't act too impressed because guess what? They have a lot of work to do. I don't care how nice it is. It's not ready for sale. Okay. So you lose all footing if you're too impressed. 2, refer to deterioration in dated elements as deferred maintenance so that they begin assuming responsibility for that. That was deferred maintenance. You owe your home on a minimum $1,500 a year, and that's bare minimum for maintenance to the home. And it looks like we've deferred maintenance. We have not updated or fixed this. So you owe this house about $20,000 to bring it up to move-in ready. So begin setting that expectation by referring to all of that deterioration as deferred maintenance. 3, identify objections, but never offer specific solutions until they've signed the listing agreement. That is proprietary information. Thank you, Rachel. right? That is proprietary information for your clients only. They are not your clients until you decide to take them on, because they are reasonable clients that value what you treat you with respect and value what you do. If they fall into that criteria and you decide that they are fortunate enough to benefit from your professional services that you have gone to great lengths to hone, then you'll let them know. Exactly. So I walk through and go, oh, we're going to definitely need to neutralize this space for sure. And they'll say, what paint color? I'll let you know when we come back over and do a thorough home evaluation. Or my stager will be sure and tell you the exact colors when they come over to do their home evaluation. Don't you worry. Yeah. So I've got a handful of neutrals that I love to work with. We'll pull out the paint Van Dyke and we'll pick the right one when we come back. Otherwise, if you tell them everything up front, they'll say, thank you, thank you, thank you. They'll ask you more, ask you more. You tell them you want to impress them. So you tell them everything. And then they go list it with their sister, who's an agent, right? Who's a part-time agent, right? That's a BS, guys. Don't lose your power because you want them to like you. You don't need them to like you. You need them to respect and want you. They need you, okay? And keep them wanting more. So we let them know, we're going to need to neutralize this. We're going to need to update this. We're going to need to soften this. We're going to need to update all of this, but don't tell them specifically what. Let them know, I got you covered. I've got great resources, that sort of thing. Reassure them that you can help them, but don't tell them. And then last but not least on this is we're going to use the Oreo method. That is, the outside is where I compliment them. Again, I'm kind to the person. I'll say, Darlene, you are so bold. You are so bold. I cannot believe that this purple color in here, you know? So I compliment her, call her bold. And then I come in, the critique is the cream in the middle. I'll come in and say, but now we know that this is not the staged look. So we are going to have to neutralize this space. And then I come back in with the last layer is another feel good. It's the confident reassurance. And I go, don't you worry. I have got the most affordable and, most precise interior painter. He's on my team. His name is John. You're going to love him. He'll whip this out in an afternoon. So it's this confident reassurance. So I compliment them. The critique is the good stuff in the middle. And then I allow a little confident reassurance. I can make it a double stuffed Oreo. If I want to compliment them, you're so bolder. I can tell. I often talk about their effort. I'll say, Alan, I can tell how much effort you have put into this curb appeal. You really have. And then I come in with some research. But we know that according to the National Association of Realtors, who have polled thousands of home buyers, they base their decisions off of first impressions. Curb appeal is paramount. And then we come into what I need to say, which is, so all of this along the edge here that feels a little rather unfinished, it feels a little hard or dry, we're going to need to soften this area where I see the exposed foundation. That's going to be an issue right there. So it was double stuffed because I added some research right before my critique, and then I come in with a confident reassurance. But I've got a team that is unbelievable. We'll whip this thing out with you. Okay, that's the Oreo method. Keep that in mind. My pricing strategy. We're going to price it lean and present it well for a quality sell. The inflated pricing strategy that allows for major price reductions, it's an outdated formula that doesn't support our goal of minimizing days on market and attracting your best offers. Okay? We price within your range according to the comps, never higher. And if we've done our job adequately with presentation, the market will drive the price up. And then insert that relatable story. So what is my concise pricing strategy? Today's pricing strategy that is most effective is to price it lean and present it well for a quality sell. All right, we are not inflating just to come and bring these down, these price reductions. All that does is increase your days on market and puts people in the mind of, let's just keep watching this thing and see how much they keep reducing it. Look, they keep reducing it. They're going to keep watching it. They're not going to take a move though. We move. There is one moment we are working towards. There is one moment that we are doing all of this for, all of this presentation, and we're pricing it lean. We are working towards this one moment. And I explain this to my clients. I say, the one moment, the magic moment that we are working towards is when that potential buyer walks into this space and they look around and they go, oh my God, oh my God, it feels so fresh. It's priced. It's such a good value. They know everybody's going to want this. Everybody's going to want this. Everybody wants what everybody wants. Nobody wants what nobody wants. So in this case, when they walk in and they know everybody's going to want this, they get a little sense of anxiousness within. They want it and they know everybody else is going to want it. That's when they turn to their buyer's agent and they go, what do we got to do to secure this house? What do we got to do? Do we need to give them full price offer? Do we need to go above? Do we need to make it a cash offer? What do we got to do? That's when you get the quality offers and multiples. Give the buyer what they want. And what do, guys? They buy. Don't give them what they want. Don't give them, if you give them inflated value, they don't buy, they don't move because they know it's not what everybody wants. So we are working towards this moment, and I make this crystal clear to my clients. Why am I pricing it lean? I know you want me to price it way up here. That's not how it works. When we give the buyer exactly what they want, they know that everybody wants this, and they're going to get nervous, and they're going to bring us the best damn offer they can. And that's what we're doing. It's all psychology of sales. That's what we're doing. There's a method to our madness. So, and specifically, we're just down here to a couple minutes. I know we started about 5 minutes late, so I'm going to go ahead and we took a break. We've got just about 5 minutes here. Pricing and listing agreements. We're going to discuss the price range. We're going to consider using TBD until the presentation is complete. But talk to your broker, make sure you feel comfortable with that. If listing higher than you recommended, right? If you didn't, I know, especially if you're new at this, you may not have quite cultivated the confidence to get the cooperation that you wanted. And that's okay. If that happens to you, then I want you to recommend, then if listed higher than you recommended, come to an agreement for a reduction schedule in writing. And on there, also include the recommended price that you said that they're going to sell at. I have had more in the early days when we weren't quite as confident on the pricing. This happened to us, and selective memory is an interesting thing. I'd say, look at that. We finally sold at the price that we recommended. And they're like, you didn't recommend that. You recommended we priced. And I'm like, no. We just got the offer finally. That was at what we recommended at. Put it in writing. So do the reduction schedule and then say, although we are listing it at this, my professional recommendation for your best sales price is this, and have it signed, because they'll start to waffle on you. And the worst thing that can happen is them to not agree to the reduction schedule. Otherwise, what happens? Days on market keeps increasing, and so does the negative stigma around your property. So don't, and then the last thing I can really advise you on this and really coach you towards is that I know sometimes when it comes to agreements and contracts, we sometimes shy away from it. Some of us do. We get a little uncomfortable for asking for the business, right? I want you to turn down the formality on this and make it really casual and make it overt, right? We're going to really use the listing agreement to unlock your services. So I'll let them know, listen, guys, one of the last things I say before I leave is, listen, I've left you with some paperwork. I'm going to email you some follow-up, and I'll have it also attached there. As soon as you complete the paperwork, we can get started. So paperwork, AKA contract. Paperwork sounds a lot less daunting and intimidating than paperwork. As soon as you complete the paperwork, we can get started, and I'm excited. I know that because we are both committed to giving the buyer what they want, we're going to be great. We're going to be great. Okay. We got a couple I think we're going to follow up. Here we go. Follow up. In your follow up, I want you to have a questionnaire. Oftentimes this is after I've come back and I've done the real thorough home eval. There's things that you're going to miss. So some of the things, and I also use it, again, I'm always trying to get their head in the right space for success. And so I'll ask a few of these questions. You add these in if you want into your follow-up questionnaire, right? So I'll say, what's your preference? A, B, or C? Let's do all the recommended repairs and list it at the top of our price range. B, keep it to a minimum and list it mid-range. Or C, do as little as possible and list it at the low end of our range. So again, they are now equating what I invest in my property equates to the price that I'm going to be able to get. All right. And then, are there any repairs I couldn't see that are less than 500 or more than 500? So maybe there's, I mean, something like there's mechanisms inside the toilet that are broken. I'm not going to have seen that in my evaluation when I'm moving through the house, right? Is there anything that I may have not seen that is less than $500? Is there anything I may have not seen that might be 500 or more? Have them tell you, oh yeah, well, there is this system that's broken, right? Fill in the blanks for me, please, right? Otherwise I might be, if I don't have an inspection report already, then, I need those blanks filled in. Do you have any craftsmen that you'd like for me to consider for the repairs? I may not use them, but if because they may not be up to the standards or I may not trust them. But if there's somebody that has been working on that home for years, knows that home, has done the work before, they may be a real asset to your make-ready team for that home, and give them an opportunity to tell you who they are and give their contact information so you can consider using them. Don't commit to using them, okay? Additional things that I like to include, I love if you've got a stager that's got, almost every stager does have some beautiful information about testimonials and stats and reviews, all kinds of things that can better help onboard them and begin to create a relationship with the homeowner and the professional you're bringing in. I'll ask them for some of these materials. Like this is a beautiful PDF that can go into, it, but you get the one from your stager in your area. These girls are in San Antonio. Okay. I always like to include what they can expect from me. My realtor seller services, and I go through all this stuff, which really brings up the value. Like, here's what I'm bringing and what you can expect from me. And then I love to have something in there about really acclimating to the seller mindset. This one has got a lot of things about, do you really have a seller's mindset? And just better prepares them. So I know that you guys are exposed to content like that all the time. And I do think that when you find something that you really love, like this is part of that download, that home prep guide, that's what it is on the resources page. I hope I haven't taken it down. So I'm always updating and refreshing. This was from several years ago. Y'all let me know. I think we got one last slide maybe here. Here we go. Oh, the end title slide. So guys, this completes our 2-hour power hour here on better mastering price and presentation. If you have invoices, will be emailed after class to those who registered for CE. If you have any questions or want to provide me with some feedback or success stories or systems of your own, I'd love to hear all of that. Email me at abbyvosick@gmail.com. If you have any feedback from the class today, if it's really good feedback, I'd love to have you leave a public review on my Facebook, abby.vosick.design reviews. That's associated with my business page. My business page is all about you and real estate. If you think it's a review that's going to encourage other agents to come in here and elevate their real estate by education, then please post it there and let's encourage more agents to get in here and get the help that they need. I'd like to invite you, there's the website if you need to check out any resources, but where I'm really sharing resources now, I started this early on in March at the beginning of COVID, a Facebook private group, because what I found is that there's a lot of continuing, like more development and more questions. I'm doing polls and all sorts of stuff and working on our architectural language. And I like doing it there because it's private. My website is public, my business page is public, and what we're doing, I don't want them to see, right? So if you've got a question about a piece of, like a home, a style of architecture. Don't text it to me or email it to me. Make it a learning opportunity for everyone. Share it in the group. What the heck is this? What would you, and I will answer it. I'll say, this is this, and this is why, and this is what it looks like, and that's what the materials are. It's sandstone, it's this kind of cut, it's this kind of build. I'm all about supporting you guys, but I'd rather stop doing it so privately and bring it to the group, and so we can all learn. I want to point that out to you. And then if you need a one-on-one, I've now finally made that available where you can check that out. You can find it on the website. But if you didn't want CE today, when you get CE, that money goes directly to me. It supports what I'm doing and here with education. And if you didn't want CE today, I know instead of sending me a Starbucks gift card to say thank you, I've made it easier now. You can donate to support the education that we're doing. And who I really want to thank is my strategic partners, Independence Title, for creating the space and inviting all of you to come. Thank you for showing up today. Thank you for showing up. Thanks for doing the work.
Hey, Abby, thank you as always.
You stop share.
Thank
Matt.
you as always, Abby. We really appreciate it. I wanted to try to put some of your things into practice because it's all about closing the sale and actually giving that good casual pitch, right? Well, we're in the same boat as y'all, so I'm going to set y'all's expectations. You're going to receive an email from us, everybody that attended the class, going to have information on this course that you just took, also information about our teams and locations, some of the marketing tools and agent tools and resources that we have. And then the call to action for you is not to sign a listing agreement or a buyer's rep. It's give us a contract. And then what you can expect from us is anybody that brings a contract to Independence Title, Schultz and Keller, new clients and clients we've had for years alike, how we run our business, our entire business is set up to make you, the agent, look like a rock star. Okay. And it's not just because we're nice. We want to do that because if you guys are the rock stars, you guys are the ones out there pounding the pavement, getting repeat business, referral business. And then if you're working with and partnering with Independence Title, we see that return on our investment as well. So that's the expectation. If y'all haven't worked with us and you want to be connected with an escrow officer, just shoot me an email or a text. I would love to chat with you a little bit about how you like to practice. It's not a one-size-fits-all title company by any means. We'd like to connect you with your person, with your closing team, so that you can help streamline your business and give that superior service to your clients so that they do come running back to you whenever they want to sell, another 5 years in the future, or they decide they want to get into investing or they want anything. You're going to be top of mind. And we know that we play a part in that and we take that part very seriously. So thank you very much for helping me, Abby, become a better closer when it comes to sales and marketing as well. So hopefully this will trickle down to your buyers and sellers.
Yes, I love it, y'all. So until we see you next time, go out there and elevate your real estate and go be the little rock stars I know you are. We will see you in our offices and we'll see you in this Zoom room again and someday in person.
Right. Thanks, Abby. We appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all. Bye-bye. Great.